My name is Malcolm Mundy, and this is my predictions, or these are my predictions, excuse me, for 2011 for the United States of America. These are based on astrological concepts. The chart I'm going to be using is July 4th, 1776, 3:02 a.m., Philadelphia, PA, Independence Hall. Many people use different charts at different times for the United States of America. I played with different charts and I like this one. This one seems to work the best. You have a moon at 18, Aquarius 40 or 39. You have the sun at 12, Cancer 45. And I use a second house placement for the sun as opposed to a first house placement. I notice a lot of astrologers like the first house placement. It is basic because the interpretation, first house has a lot to do with expression and how the entity expresses in the environment. As for me, the original conflict between the colonists and Great Britain had to do with money, because the Bank of England issued its own debt-based currency to the colonists via the Currency Act, which for some reason is not written in our history books. And also there was the taxation without representation bit, which seems to be really, really stressed in our history books. But primarily the colonial money that was issued, the King George III, eliminated and replaced it with the Bank of England's currency, which was debt-based. And the colonists back then were a lot smarter than people are today. Debt-based currency allows a bank to eventually control your life, control your business, etc. And we're starting to see that take place right now. But because of that, the second house represents finances and money, and the sun, which represents usually the entity itself on a chart, is in a pretty good square with the planet Saturn in the 5th, and this represents a conflict over money or speculation thereof of money. And in my opinion, that was the initial reason and rationale for the start of the United States of America, to break away from Great Britain. But anyway, let's start out with the United States for predictions. We're going to have Neptune transiting the 10th. We have Pluto transiting the 7th. And we also have Uranus in the 11th. Uranus in the 11th, that 11th house has to do with allies and associates, and with Uranus there, I think we may have changes in our allies. We may start to see some allies start to thumb their nose at the United States, especially China and Russia. And this is going to be especially due to the financial situation, I think, that's going on with the dollar and so forth. And with Neptune in the 10th house, I have my own thing here that I use as a guide. The 10th house represents the president, the ruling party, and the actions of such, and the reputation of the government and power and actions thereof. And Neptune in the 10th house usually indicates that the president and the powers that be are not going to be honest with the people. For 2011, the first half of 2011 is going to feature possible budget cuts. There's going to be possible reneging on health care. They may not only ask for people to buy health care insurance, they may actually be more, say, death committees established and more intrusion of the government into the lives of people regarding health care planning and health care decisions. And I think you're going to start to see a lot of people get upset with this. And this will really start to manifest when Neptune enters the sign of Pisces coming up this spring. And I think you will see the banks receive the lion's share. Banks pretty much supported Barack Obama. Goldman Sachs gave him $900,000 for his campaign, and the other banks, JP Morgan Chase, Citi Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they all gave a combination of well over $1 million. So for the most part, I don't think Barack Obama is going to turn his back on the people who financed him. He's going to probably go after the citizens who voted him in, because they're small fries or small potatoes. And you're going to see a lot of people get extremely upset about this, especially as Uranus goes into the sign of Aries, which also is going to be taking place around the springtime. And the last time Uranus went into Aries was in the early 1930s, and you saw crime waves establish via Bonnie and Clyde, John Dillinger, Maud Barker, Babyface Nelson, etc. You may sort of see something like that coming up in 2011. And what was interesting was in the 1930s, these people were sort of folk heroes. So this is something, I guess, to worry about. Okay, number 2, inflationary pressures of the United States is going to increase. It is probable that gasoline will exceed $4 a gallon. Gold will exceed $1,600 an ounce. Silver exceed $40 an ounce. And noticeable increases in your grocery bill, and possibly having your grocery bill and utility bill double sometime in the year 2011. And if it doesn't double, it's going to probably come close to such. And well, it may double in some areas and may not double in others. Let me just say that. Number 3, debate over health care. I think I talked about this. That's going to intensify. Number 4, we may have an intelligence agency or military scandal this summertime with an eclipse taking place at Uranus at 8 degrees Gemini 53 minutes in the 12th house. I think we may have that. And let's see, for prediction number 5, there are going to be continued attempts at repressive actions against U.S. citizens. And this is going to be especially true in terms of trying to get money out of the country. Right now, if you want to leave the United States with your wealth, you have to pay an exit fee of 1/3 of your wealth. Also, we'll probably see increased actions that are going to restrict travel in some cases of certain people. I mean, we already have the no-fly list for people who say naughty words against the government over the internet. That may start to get expanded, and we may also start to see TSA in shopping malls, and we may start to see neighborhood watch groups that will not be watching out for burglars, but will be watching out for their own neighbors, especially if certain neighbors teach other neighbors how to use bow and arrows or a Glock 45. And also we'll probably see increased financial controls over one's bank account and how much one can take out. And I think that's about it. That's for the United States. We will now go on to Barack Hussein Obama next.